All right, so hi everyone, my name is Kolby, and the topic that I will be presenting on is plastic waste. So, some background information: in 1907, the first synthetic plastic was developed, so that kind of caused a chain reaction. So, by the 1990s, plastic waste production more than doubled in the past 2 decades, and then that brings us into the 2000s, in which plastic waste rose more in a single decade than it had in the previous 40 years. And now, today, we produce 300 million tons of plastic waste every year. So, if this trend continues, we will have more plastic in our oceans than fish by 2050. So, who is this affecting? Nearly 700 species, including endangered ones, are known to have been affected by plastics. This includes both marine and land animals. Animals will either eat the plastic and die from choking on it or from the toxins within the plastic. They could also become entangled in it and die from starvation or asphyxiation. Microplastics are everywhere. They can be found from Mount Everest to the Mariana Trench, which means it can be found that plastic waste can be found on every inch of the world, making it a worldwide issue. When fish and wildlife ingest the plastic toxins, this enters into the food chain, which can harm human life. So this can cause cancer, birth defects, immune system problems, and childhood developmental issues. So the scale of the problem: about 80% of garbage accounts for the world's marine pollution. 60 to 95% of that waste is plastic. So just a fun fact, there are more microplastic in the ocean than there are stars in the Milky Way. So that kind of shows the severity of the issue. And some social math. So every year, about 8 million tons of plastic waste escapes into the oceans from coastal nations. So that means that 8 million tons of plastic waste is equivalent to 5 garbage bags on every foot of coastline around the world. Now, some simple solutions that you can do. You can reduce your use of single use plastics, which the Canadian Wildlife Federation has made a simple, easy chart that you could follow. You could use reusable water bottles, reusable cotton bags, uh, metal straws, different things like that. You can recycle. Only 9% of plastic is recycled worldwide. So you can use the resource Earth 911 to find your local recycling centers. You can also participate in ocean and river cleanup. You can partake in organizations like the International Coastal Cleanup. And you can support legislative bans on single use plastic, which I included a resource down below. And you can support organizations that are addressing plastic pollution, like Ocean Society, Plastic Pollution Coalition, and the Plastic Soup Foundation. And yes, these are my cited sources.